hello to you, Erin.
Hello, good morning.
We have Erin Krusic-Golub from the Grovedale Toy Library.
And it is a great thing toy libraries do, being involved in them. But you, Erin, you sort of take it to a whole new level, such as your passion for the task?
That is correct. I've been involved in the Grovedale Toy Library since my daughter was 1. And
She's now 38.
No, she's 10. It's okay. Since I was 9 years, I reckon we should have joined earlier for those really annoying baby toys that you get that just won't shut up. And that's the beauty of the toy library, is you borrow it for a couple of weeks, you take it back and you don't have to hear it again.
I recall when my daughter and son, my son would have been about 2, and we decided to drive to Brisbane, and someone gave him this thing that you pull a chain and it was like a fish, and it would work its way up the chain. It would go tick 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 tick.
All the way to Brisbane.
We got to Calder Park. I pulled the car over and said, "If you do not stop doing that, I'm throwing it out the window."
You cruel dad.
Or him, one or the other.
You wouldn't do that to your child, would you, Erin?
Not at all, but they do know how to push our buttons with those annoying toys, and that has been the beauty of toy libraries for us over the years, has been borrowing toys that have been a bit of a fad for them. They're into it for a couple of weeks and then they lose interest and we take it back, and I've saved thousands and thousands of dollars over that time that we've been a member of the toy library.
So who funds the toys? I mean, do you whistle down to the local toy shop and buy stuff, or what? How does it work?
No, we're really lucky. We get some donations, but most of our toys are purchased through grants. So
Morning, Grant.
Competitive grants, and so that way we can buy really high quality toys, the type that parents probably can't or don't want to have to afford themselves, and they're the ones that last the longest in the toy library. So we're looking for toys that we call them toy library tough. So they've got to be able to be cleaned really easily. They've got to go together and come apart really easily for transport. And they've got to go the distance, because they might go through the hands of 50 to 100 families over their lifetime in the toy library.
And there wouldn't be any whooping cough being passed around or anything like that, of course, because they're being cleaned properly.
Absolutely. And look, our members take responsibility for cleaning toys, and they're really great at it. And I promise you, the toys at the toy library are probably cleaner than the toys in your own house.
Not hard.
Erin, there has been a lot of focus in this region, I'm sure all around Australia, appeals around Christmas for gifts to go to families who just cannot afford to give their children the joy of Christmas presents and the like. I imagine even the toy library could somewhat fill the void in this area as well, maybe to have the toy given, wrapped up, the children have that joy of Christmas, but then you can still go back into that routine of rolling them over, changing them to make your introduction into the toy library.
Particularly for younger kids that don't know any different and don't know what Christmas is. And that's about the parents and making sure that they feel supported in their parenting journey. But, I think that one thing that we've learned over our toy library journey is it's great to teach the kids, it's not about having stuff. So it's about the experience of playing with it, and that being about family and coming together. And, we had a board game night at home last night, Kids' Choice. So we played a game called Carcassonne, and so that's what we can do as a family. But we don't have to. They've learnt that we don't have to own toys, so they know when we go out to the shops, I'm not always getting asked, can we buy this? Can we buy this? In fact, they've gotten strategic now, and they say, hey, Mum, that'd be a really good toy for the toy library. You think you could buy it for toy library? Because they know they can borrow it, play it a couple of times, and take it back again.
Yeah.
Now, we need to point out, when Rob said when you've got toys for your kids around Christmas, you can take them back and roll them over, that is the toys, of course, not the kids.
Yeah, correct.
You're meant to keep the same kids.
I know some parents wouldn't mind returning children at times, but no, it's focusing on the toys
now,
today.
You've got some exciting news, I think, for people who think, gee, there's a lot of toy libraries, which one do I choose?
I do. And look, at the end of the day, I would say go to any toy library that best suits your family. But the exciting news in Geelong, and we're really spoilt for choice here, is that Grovedale Toy Library is going to be merging with Belmont Toy Library and Geelong West Toy Library to make Barwon Toy Libraries. So much like the Book Library Network, those 3 toy libraries, you'll be able to borrow from any of those branches. And so that's coming in the next 6 months as we do the work behind the scenes to bring everything into line. But it's really exciting. That'll be over 350 families in Geelong. They're going to have access to even more toys and more play.
So we are a little short on time, as I mentioned earlier to you off air, but the key and important information that I think we need to ask is, how do people become a member of a toy library? And secondly, how can people financially support a toy library?
Absolutely. So to become a member of Grovedale Toy Library specifically, you would head to our website, grovedaletolibrary.org.au, and there's a big fat join now button, and all it costs is less than a big toy. So our memberships start at $75 a year for borrowing 4 toys at a time for 2 weeks. But you can find your local toy library anywhere in Australia on Toy Libraries Australia. So search Find a Toy Library, and our Peak Body Toy Libraries Australia has this fantastic tool for you to pop in your address and find where your local toy library is. So whether you're down the coast or in Melbourne and you're listening in the area, then you'll be able to find where your local toy library is. You can also donate to your local toy library, and coming up to the end of financial year, if anyone's in a position to do so, you can absolutely donate through that Toy Libraries Australia website to your local toy library and actually make that a tax-deductible donation as well.
Yes, because yesterday when I was looking for some information, I noticed that you are registered on the Australian Charities website. So, folk, if you're worried about, there's a few organisations out there that might not necessarily, you need not be concerned about that with Grovedale Toy Library, or indeed any of the other toy libraries in Toy Libraries Australia.
They are amazing toy libraries, doing really fantastic work in their communities, bringing play to families and saving them thousands of dollars every year.
And you said, when you said $75 for 4 toys a week, if you happen to be a family that's got 6 kids, is there a bigger membership you can get, or is that you're kind of stuck with that?
We've got an 8-toy membership,
Yep.
And look, if you've got 6 kids, let's have a chat. But
Yep.
The reality is, if you borrow 8 toys at a time, there's a lot of pieces to keep track of. So we think that that's probably about right, and you might come and borrow toys a bit more frequently.
I think if you've got 6 kids, we need to have a chat, is correct. It's got nothing to do with toy libraries. Erin, thank you for taking some time out of your busy morning. I know you're out there at the moment, wrangling toys and stuff. Erin Krusic-Golub, how did I go with the name? Yeah?
Well done.
Thank you. I've been practising all night. I haven't slept. I've just been practising that all night. Thank you for being part of that, and you are doing good stuff.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
No trouble
worries.
at all,
Thanks,
and we
Erin.
will do it again. I'll be in touch for some more. Good on you.
Thanks, Erin.
Thanks so much. Bye.
So, Grovedale Toy Library merging with Belmont and Geelong West to become Barwon, which is exciting. Go to grovedaletolibrary.org.au. I'm sure you can find the others by going to Toy Libraries Australia.
We've talked a lot on here and many shows on the Pulse about the cost of living and people doing it tough, but that is a great idea to make sure your children aren't missing out, because some of the things in life at the moment is children and families comparing. Some got more than others, but this is a great way to make sure your kids feel part of life.